Hi everybody, my name is Busnardo. I'm a member of Faith Presbyterian Church. Some of you have known me for a long time, and some of you maybe not. Here to give you a little bit of history of my life and how I came to know the Lord. That wasn't always the case. My folks were out in California in 1943 during the war, and I was born in San Francisco. My folks were Catholic. Both my mom and dad were Italian, so that makes me a half Northern Italian and half Southern Italian. I think that's 100%. But anyway, I've been in Denver since I was about 2 years old, and I consider Colorado my native state, even though I really wasn't born here. And then eventually went to North High School in North Denver. Graduated from North High School and went to University of Colorado, where I got a degree in teaching. And I met my first wife when I was in college. We got married in 1966. I graduated college in 1967. And we had a couple of boys from that marriage. At that time, we had bought a house in Montbello, and I had secured a job teaching in the city of Aurora. So anyhow, I was teaching school in Aurora. We had bought a house in Montbello area, and my wife was a Catholic as well, and we attended church pretty regularly. But I was getting to a point in my life where I just didn't feel like I was connecting with the church, and I wasn't feeling a purpose for going to church. And there was a sign out in Montbello said Denver needs policemen and firemen, and I thought, well, I'll try the fire department. Just wasn't sure that was what I wanted to do, but I thought I'd go through the process. And by the grace of God, I got on the fire department in August of 1971, and ended up making a career out of that for 31 years. It created some conflict between my wife and I. She wasn't real happy with me being on the fire department. She wanted me to continue teaching. And eventually, we ended up getting, we separated, and then eventually got divorced. Because of the circumstances of the marriage and all that took place when I was going to the Catholic Church, not feeling a connection, when I went through that divorce, I quit going to church altogether. I didn't feel it was benefiting my life. I didn't feel close to God, and I really just sort of ignored it. I just wasn't feeling like church had a lot of meaning for me. I couldn't relate to what was going on in the church. I felt a real distance. And of course, as soon as we got that divorce with my first wife, I just completely abandoned the church. I didn't go to church. I more or less ignored it, and just kind of wandering, not knowing what direction I was going to. 1972, I met my wife Jo, who you all probably know. We started dating, but not very seriously. I still was not going to church. She was attending Faith Church at the time. And we would date once a month whether we needed to or not, sometimes less. She was more like a kind of a friend. In 1973, we started dating a little bit more regularly, and she had invited me to attend church with her. And to keep the relationship going, I was starting to get stronger feelings for her, and I thought, well, I will do that to kind of please her. So I went to Faith Church with her, not on a regular basis, but occasionally. And I felt a stirring that I had never felt before. And for 2 years, going to Faith Church, I started going more regularly and found myself wanting to go to church, wanting to hear more about who this Jesus was. And I had some very influential friends on the fire department who were Christians and had been ministering to me, and Joe was ministering to me. And I was on an elk hunting trip in October of 1975, sitting out looking at God's creation on a beautiful fall day, and it came to me at that moment in time that this is not just an accident. This is something that this is God at work. And at that moment in time, I accepted the Lord. No one was around me. I was by myself, and it was a wonderful time. And as I look back and see where God had put me at different stages of my life, having me go through through college, learning to get a degree in education, my first marriage, how that worked out, where He brought me through that, meeting Joe and the people that I came in contact with on the fire department who were Christians. And as I look back on that, the Lord really was guiding me. I didn't realize it at the time, but boy, it's so clear now that I look back and realize that it was God at work at me the whole time. And it's now that I know He's working with me, it's even more exciting yet.